And welcome to this latest edition of Field Hockey with Hatfield, also available on 757 Saturday Sports Talk with us on CoVA Sports TV. Glad you are tuned in wherever you may be watching. Matt Hatfield here with you. We have a special guest with us. He is the head field hockey coach at Old Dominion University, fresh off a dazzling 14-6 season, 2023 Big East Tournament champs and NCAA tournament appearance for him. I think just wrapping up his 11th year at the helm in Norfolk. Andrew Griffiths with us here, and we'll talk about the Total Hockey Academy coming up in Virginia Beach here that will start up next week and also go through March and April. Coach, thank you for stopping by. How's the off-season been for you?
Thanks, Matt. It's good to be here. It's actually been great. It's been really interesting and different from any other year for us because we've got 4 mid-year transfers, which is really unusual. Transfer portal, as you know, probably from many sports has changed the landscape a lot. And so every year you have this transition after a season into the next iteration of the team and new leadership. And this year, incorporating 4 new faces and personalities has been interesting. But it's going great so far. Been really competitive, and we're competing in an indoor tournament in a week and a half. And so it'll be a good check to see where we are.
Now, for those that don't know about your background, tell the audience a little bit about it. You played internationally as a member of the Canadians men's national team, over 200 games on the international front, 2000 Olympic Games in Sydney. And then also I was fascinated to find out that you got a broadcast journalism major or degree, I should say, from Toronto, Ontario. Is that right?
Yeah, well, it's funny how life takes weird paths sometimes, but I didn't really know what I was doing, what I was going to do after I finished competing and playing for Canada. And after the Olympics in 2000, I was kind of up in the air. I'd gone through a master's in journalism, broadcast journalism, thinking I might get into something with the world that you're in, with the internet and just growing at that time. And I was really interested in that. And then coaching came up, and I'd been doing that just, to help out people and younger players for a while anyway. And I went to Maryland, took a volunteer assistant job for a little bit, and just found out that I loved it and ended up being decent at it. So things went from there, and one thing led to another. Met my wife down here, and I've been back to Canada since, but I haven't thought about moving back actually because I've had great opportunities here.
And if I'm not mistaken, you coached at Boston College for a little bit, top 5 program in the nation, and then it brought you to Old Dominion, where you've been for over a decade, and you've made the program one of the best around. I imagine it's been a whirlwind in a lot of respects, but also a great deal of fun.
Yeah, my first head coaching job was actually Lafayette College in Pennsylvania, and we managed to develop them into a strong team. Won the Patriot League championship twice, and then got the opportunity down here. And it being a bigger program historically, came in, and there have been a lot of changes. So it took some time for us to really get to where we wanted to be, but we're getting there now, and we've been really good for top 20 team for the last probably the last 5 years now, and got a great coaching staff and great team there at the moment. Culture is great. So, and 11 years is a good amount of time to be at a place, and I see our success continuing.
Absolutely doing just a wonderful job there. And I want to hit on that just a little bit with you as far as before we get to this Total Hockey Academy coming up, just the growth of the sport. You've seen it internationally, globally, if you will, not just on a local and statewide perspective, but I imagine you also marvel when you see all the great talent we have across our area in Virginia Beach, the high school players. And then I know just a few years back, the Big Ten came here for Big Ten at the beach. Just the wealth and growth of field hockey in general it's got to be pretty cool to see.
Yeah, I think women's sports in general are taking off, and the popularity of them and people's appreciation for them, as well as men's sports. So, lacrosse, and you see bigger crowds at basketball games, and field hockey certainly part of that as well. And the opportunities that are there in field hockey, the U.S. team just qualifying for the Olympics was a huge positive for us because they haven't made it the last 2 sessions, and one of our former players, Danielle Grega, who will we expect to make an appearance at the Total Hockey Academy, is she graduated from ODU about 5 years ago, and she developed really into a great player. She's a striker on the national team and was part of that qualifying experience for the USA for the Olympics, which is awesome. So this is going to be a fun year for them going to Paris.
So awesome. We're talking with Andrew Griffiths, head field hockey coach at Old Dominion University, reigning Big East tournament champions. We've got the Total Hockey Academy coming up, 757 Saturday Sports Talk and Field Hockey with Hatfield with you on CoVA Sports TV, also available on YouTube, Twitter, X as they call it now, and Facebook, as well as all over the web here with us. Coach, I think there's been so many changes in every sport. You mentioned it, NIL, transfer portal, all different things. But what's the biggest thing you've noticed that's different in your sport when you started coaching to now? Anything drastic? It may be technically with the game, or would it be something outside of that?
There are a lot of things. I actually been talking about this recently when I watched the international game now. Both men's and women's, the skill level and the speed of the game has just accelerated massively, and it's fun. It's really a great game to watch. There's a lot of aerial play now, which there didn't used to be, and they've allowed that to go a little bit more with safety in mind still. But it's that's been a huge development in the actual technical and tactical part of the game, because it's changed completely. There's a self-start rule, so on a free hit, like in soccer on a free kick, you can actually play it to yourself now and then run. This has been in for a while, but it's changed the transition part of the game a lot. But in terms of the college game, also huge changes. Some for the good. Some coaches argue that it's gone a bit too far, but there's a lot of been a lot of a push for the rights of the student athlete, and very much rightly so. Used to be that you couldn't transfer unless the coach gave you the okay to transfer. And sometimes a coach wouldn't be happy with losing a good player, so they'd just say no, or they'd say they could block you from transferring to certain places. And now the balance of power has swung for sure towards the student athlete in the sense that there's more freedom for them to make decisions. Some of them take it, when they're unhappy somewhere, instead of working through it and looking at themselves to try and find the answer, they blame it on a coach, and then they get out of town. But they find that they run into the same problem elsewhere. So I think that's an evolution. It's going to find a balance at some point. It's going to maybe go too far one way or too far the other way, but in the end, it's good for its growth. It's good. It's a reflection of society as well, where there's more power with the individual and less with the institution, and it's not a bad thing as long as you can. As a coach, you have to learn how to adapt to that.
Indeed, and I was just telling someone the other day how invaluable things like a coaches clinic, or as we're going to put up on the screen now, the Total Hockey Academy coming up, are for so many people involved. You see yourself, as long with coaches, one of your assistants, head coach at Virginia Wesleyan, Riley Vandervelde, and some other coaches involved with this. It's coming up this Wednesday, the final Wednesday of February, and it will also be open to all in March, April. You see the dates there, ages 15 through 18, ages 10 through 14. Cost is $420. Curriculum developed and led by elite NCAA and international coaches, coming up at the Regional Training Center in Virginia Beach, right next to us there at the Plex, where we do so many of our broadcasts and podcasts. And Coach, tell me how this all came about and what people will get from it.
Well, coaching clinics for college coaches sometimes it's a money grab, and sometimes it's recruiting's involved in it as part of it. Getting kids on campus. But the thing I love about coaching is watching the development. And so I've run an academy like this before, back when I was at Lafayette, but I haven't had the chance to do it here. And the opportunity came up working with Chuck and Beanie at the Sportsplex, and to put in a series that went over a period of time, so you could really see development. And the way that from my experience, learning happens is not it's not in a one-time session. It takes time for the young players to develop and put in the work on particular skills. And one of the things that we have done is try and make it a fun environment to be in, and which is appreciated by today's youth. So we'll have music going. We'll do everything we do will be dynamic and in a reflection of what the game's like now. It's not a static game. It's very it's not move slowly around, see what's happening. It's all high speed stuff, and so we're aiming to incorporate fundamentals and basics, but at speed. And so I think it'll be a lot of fun, and we've got a great curriculum lined up and some great coaches coming in who all have that same mindset. So I think it's going to be, I think it's going to be fun. And also it's actually a great price for 10 sessions. I saw a camp advertised at a college the other day for $200 for a 4-hour session. And I'm thinking, God, that's a steep price for one short session. So this is over 10 weeks, and I think it's a great deal.
It is, and I think you're getting the bang for your buck. The quality's there. You're getting top-notch coaching and development and the tutoring. You hit on something that's so near and dear to me, because I've been to so many various camps, combines, if you will, those type of events, off-season events, and the standing around, the waiting, sometimes it's the boredom will set it. And now with today's youth, I mean, everybody's attention span in this social media era and age that we live in, the dynamic, where you said, and having the constant motion and being on the move, it keeps the attention span, but it also helps with the growth of these athletes. So it's going to be very influential for them from that perspective, right?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, we do, our sessions, even at ODU, we don't run 3-hour practices. We run practices that are moving. And yeah, there's times that we have to do tactical stuff, but they're not dragged out and long. We don't do long video sessions because we were all kids. And, even back before things sped up, you want to be kind of motivated. You want to be excited. And if you're an athlete, you want to go. And so one of the formats will be setting up rotations where they do a 10-minute rotation with a station. So they get enough reps, an introduction to the drill or the skill or the concept. And then we'll have music playing, and then they'll move on to the next station, do something else with a different coach, move on to the next. And then we'll go into some gameplay. And the sessions are 90 minutes long. There will not be a lot of sitting around at all in that time. It'll be, go grab a drink of water, get back out, and get on to the next thing.
Well, and correct me if I'm wrong, I think what you all are striving for is to make each athlete that come out better from this. They want to get improvement, growth from it. And so if there's a mom or a dad out there, a parent or relative that hears this interview and they're saying, I think I've got a youngster that's going to be pretty good, but I don't know how good. This is also a barometer to see and test their skills to see where they measure up against others and what they've got to get better at, correct?
Yeah, I mean, the numbers are relatively small. So everyone's going to get an opportunity to learn what they need to learn. So it's not one size fits all kind of thing. And as we've got the age group split up, and we'll just adjust, where players go based on what they need at the time. And I think by the end of 10 weeks, the core group of us who are running it will know all these kids. And so we'll be able to actually help them develop, and as opposed to we run a clinic at the university and then 45 kids show up, and then you've got them for 2 hours. There's no way you're learning everyone's name, but this time there's repetition, and as long as the commitment's made on the athlete's behalf to come and attend those sessions. They don't have to, but they're paying for it, so I would if it was my children. Then they're going to get something significant out of it. It's not a money-making scheme, that's for sure.
Well, and that's a big deal too, because so many of different events, they'll have 100, 200, they don't cap a number. And then maybe those athletes that aren't maybe at a certain level, or whoever is, in a spot might not get the proper tutoring they need. And you don't get the value out of it. With it being limited to the first 30, you'll get a lot more personal one-on-one time and kind of get a feel for things. And if those out there want to register, how can they do so? They go to the Plex, they go with you. How do they do so? And if they want to find out more, how can they find out more?
Well, they can contact me directly. My contact information is all on the ODU website, or they can reach out to through the link to the Sportsplex and get on there. But the last thing I'll say is that this is really personal to me from another angle, because I've got 2 teenage boys who are both athletes, and I go and watch them at camps all the time. ID camps and all this stuff, and I see the same thing over and over again. When I see one that actually does it right, that sticks with me. So that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to, and parents are welcome to watch and take on the information themselves. Don't come on the field, but they can watch from the side and ask questions as we go. But yeah, hopefully. I think we're going to have a great turnout and a great experience.
Oh, so cool. You see all the information. Again, we have it up on our website, beachsportsplex.com, and you'll see it through our social channels as well. Total Hockey Academy coming up. Don't miss it. Regional Training Center. You've got some of the top NCAA and international coaches like Coach Andrew Griffiths of Old Dominion and so many others involved with this. Registration capped at the first 30 players. The age groups you see 15 through 18, 5:30 to 7, ages 10 through 14, 7 to 8:30. Also March the 6th, the 13th, the 20th, the 27th, as well as April 3rd, 10th, 16th, 24th, and 30th. And before we let you run, Coach, I want to get 2 more with you here and let you run. You mentioned your teenage kids. Tell us about them a little bit, what grades they are and what sports they're dazzling in. Are they multi-sport athletes as well?
Well, one of them just he's a soccer player. He just committed to Randolph-Macon
awesome.
for this fall, so he's a senior. So that was exciting. Had a celebration dinner for him for that just happened a couple of weeks ago. And that was a good process, especially seeing it from my perspective. The other one's he's 14 and he's a volleyball player and a soccer goalie. So that's been interesting as well. And I like them doing different sports because I think it gives them different perspectives on things.
Terrific. And I'll let you go on this. Quick outlook on next season. I know things change from day to day, week to week, month to month, but how things looking for the Monarchs over there at Old Dominion?
Well, we're super excited so far. I mean, 2 years ago we won the Big East regular season. Last year we won the championship, and I think we've got a core that is really strong. We lost a few important players, but we also retained a good core and added in some more. So I don't know. I mean, I'm always optimistic, but I think next year we can go. Our goal is to go a step further. Get into the NCAA tournament, go further along than we did this year, and can't wait. Actually, can't wait to get started.
We look forward to it. Continue the success over there at ODU. Andrew Griffiths, the head field hockey coach over there, and they got the Total Hockey Academy coming up at the Regional Training Center in Virginia Beach next week. Go sign up. Should be lots of fun. Hey, appreciate you doing this. Look forward to chatting with you again soon, and we'll talk down the road.
Thanks, Matt. Thanks for having me.
Andrew Griffiths, our guest here with Field Hockey with Hatfield at the Plex and on CoVA Sports TV. We've got more to come your way here, also on 757 Saturday Sports Talk, but we'll hear now from some of our sponsors that make it possible. Stay tuned.